Good morning, Shali. Thank you for joining in today's interview. How are you doing today?
Very good morning. I'm doing fine. You see, we're just staying home, staying safe. I hope you're doing the same as well.
I'm doing as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, Shali, since you have come up for today's interview, so we would like to know something about yourself.
Okay. All right, I'll start then. My full name is Sherry Sneha, and let me run you through my education first. So I completed my intermediate and senior secondary from Jamshedpur Little Flower School. Then I moved on to Bhubaneswar to do my engineering in computer science. Okay, after that I joined Wipro. I worked in Wipro for a year as service desk for 1 year as an L1 team member, where I got promoted to the level of handling Microsoft Exchange tickets, working on SCCM server, Azure. Okay, I gained all these skills, and then after a year, I moved to ADP, and it's been 2 years and counting since I've been working in ADP. In ADP, initially, I was working in service desk as an end user computing admin, and then I switched my profile to manual testing. And since then, I have been continuing to work as a manual tester here in ADP. Okay. Um, yeah, so that's it about my education background. As for my um, I would like to run you through like what I want to do in my leisure. I like music. I like going through stuff on the internet, which tells us what new technology is in use, how it's good to build up a career in a certain field, why it's good to do so. Like not just my field, but I try to explore various other fields. Suppose if I'm in testing, and if there are career options in suppose as a developer, or maybe as a network or a security in which you're looking. So I try to explore all these, which is good, healthy criticism, just exploring around so we get to know like which is good. It also comes in handy for us if somebody asks for suggestions, or if we come to, it's time to groom our juniors when they ask for help. So that's pretty about me.
That's great. Thank you for sharing such a beautiful journey that you had so far. So, as you mentioned, Shali, that you started as a service desk engineer, I guess, and then you switched your profile to manual testing. So, I would like to know that why did you choose testing as your profession where there are so many back-end and front-end technologies available in the market?
Hmm. Um, See, testing requires analytical skills, which I feel I was good in, and I would be have able to pull through very good. Also, I was interested in automation testing more because we get an opportunity to code. I like coding as well. Second thing, it helps us deliver a very it's basically a quality analyst kind of role. So it helps us ensure that the customer is being delivered quality products and services, okay, which is actually a good reputation for our company. As well as from my side also, I'm happy to be a part of the team which looks into these aspects, that yes, we are doing our work properly, and we are leaving no stone unturned to leave our customer or clients unhappy. So this was the thing that attracted me to automation testing.
Right. Well said. So, as you mentioned that you switched your profile as well. So, I guess you might have faced a lot of challenges and hurdles as well, right?
Yes, initially, yes, because when you are in a totally different profile, it's basically how to switch. But I am happy that my current organization gave me a chance to make this happen. They believed in me, they tested me, they helped me, and then when they found that yes, I had particular skills which would match this profile, so they allowed me to switch. So I had been going through courses on the YouTube, online on the internet through Udemy. I tried learning manual testing from there, also gaining knowledge of what is testing, the life cycles, and stuff like these. And also, so these were basically the courses that helped me in, a lot. Okay, and after I was shifted to my profile was changed, then what happened was I came to know a lot more. So learning is still in process.
That's great. Suppose you are selected in today's interview, okay, and you are working in my company, and and a situation arises in my company that I am not able to give you a project based on manual testing. However, you might have to once again move back to your old profile that you were working. So that means in my company you would be working as a service desk engineer. So are you flexible to do that once again in your life? Yeah.
I think no, because it would be again going back to something to which I've lost touch. First of all, not about losing touch. I think it's not been very long since I lost touch, but yeah, I think we should go for one thing. Since I have decided to stay as a part of this particular domain, this particular profile, so it's better I groom myself on this and try to move forward there.
Absolutely, well said as well. So, so as by speaking to you, I can judge that you are extremely goal-oriented kind of a person. So, I guess you have thought something about yourself in the next 5 years of time. So, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Hmm. In the next 5 years. So when I was, searching online and browsing for the career prospects, I found out that testing is allowing us in the next 5 years. See, the next 5 years won't be a very big span of time so that we can achieve, very great heights. Yeah, there has to be a lot of learning from my end, because I have 1 year experience, and this learning process has to be ongoing. It never ends. So in the next 5 years, I see myself as a senior software engineer, or um, a test lead, or a test manager. As of now, I have set such goals for the next 5 years.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing. So, since you are learning so many things, you have few strengths and few weaknesses as well. So, I would like to know what is that one thing that you want to change about yourself as Shally?
Hmm. I am a bit of a procrastinator when it comes to, sometimes my personal routine, because I get so involved in something like maybe work or sometimes maybe a project. So I sometimes forget that, yeah, I should take minimal 5 or 10 minutes break, go have a walk, have water, come back. So that is one thing I was wanting to change in me. Just to refresh my mind. That is one thing I'm looking. Rest, yeah, I also try to work on better levels of concentration. That's it. Not that it's very bad right now, it's good enough, but yeah, it's always good if we can, improve on that. So that is one. These are, yeah, two things I'm working on and wanting to change.
That's great. So, I'm done with the HR rounds, okay, and I would like Govind and Amol if they would like to ask few more questions on here.
Yeah, hi Shelly. I would like to ask one question which you have mentioned, like you like to search about new technology over internet, right? So, can you please tell me which new technology you came across recently over internet?
Like when I mentioned new technology, I was basically referring to all the you know uh, languages and career prospects I had been looking over. So I was doing good research on basically skills from testing, what all tools we use, what all career prospects we have there. Then also I was fascinated by another programming language called Python. It had been in my mind for quite some time, and I was trying to explore the options how to go about picking up this skill, because this ultimately is going to help me in my career, since I know Java, and Python would come as an additional plus skill in my CV. So this was one thing I have been concentrating on right now. Yeah, I won't say Python is a very new thing. Yeah, it's been there for quite some time, but I have been focused for now here.
Okay, it's good to hear that you are showing some interest to learning new technologies. Thank you. Yeah, that's
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah, hi Shari. Uh, so
Hello,
as
Govind.
you clearly said that that you are looking forward to learn new technologies or something. So suppose you join a company and you are right now into testing, and say tomorrow you think that you want to switch your profile to any of the profile. It may be database, it may be network, it may be anything. So how do you look towards that?
Hmm. I think this area needs to be explored more by me. But as of now, I will think that I'm not looking for a change in a profile in the near future. Because if I keep changing profiles very often, it's not going to prove helpful to me. As per the saying goes, a rolling stone gathers no moss. So I am looking to, settle down as a software engineer, gain a lot of knowledge, and when I feel that yes, I have learned everything, this is enough and I am good enough to maybe move to another field, then that is going to come maybe in the later future, but I don't see it happening real very soon.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Shelly. So, Shelly, we'll start with the technical rounds right now. If you want to have a glass of
Right.
water in between, you can have
I'm good.
it. Okay, thank you. So, the first question, let me start up with the first question. So, before Govind's take over. Uh, so, I would like to know what is software testing for you?
Software testing is basically a process in which we aim to analyze the software. We check if it is meeting the customer requirements, and we are also trying to check if it has, if there is presence of bugs and defects. We try to analyze the software performance before it is delivered to the customer, so that if there are any errors or bugs, we can fix it from our end, so that we are able to deliver quality products at the end. Okay. It involves a lot of planning. There are different phases. Uh, we have a complete life cycle, the software testing life cycle, which goes about telling how to test a software. So this is what software testing is. In software testing, also our major aim is to find bugs in the software. The major motive is to make the software fail, so that we can always keep developing on the weak parts that we might have missed. That's for
Right.
software testing.
So, I guess you might be aware of static and dynamic testing as well.
Yes, yes.
Can you explain the
So
difference between the two?
yeah, in static testing, basically what is happening is more like a verification. Okay, we are not actually testing the software. We are just looking at the features. What should it be like? We are like, it's done at the requirement analysis phase. We are not actually coding something and testing the software. But whereas in dynamic, we are actually running the code. We are actually doing the testing on the software. Even if it is a manual, we actually go to the, suppose there's a web application, we actually go to it, we test it. So that is done after the product has been developed. But as for static, it is done before the product has been developed. In dynamic,
Okay.
we also refer to as validation.
So you mentioned in the software testing that defects, bugs, and errors. So can you tell me about the difference between these three? What are these?
A defect would be something like in a software when we are looking for a functionality. For suppose there is a login functionality and it's not working. When we hit the login button, it does not log in. That would be a defect. A bug would be like, suppose we are trying, we have a shopping cart and we are trying to add a particular item to the cart. Okay, and the cart value is showing suppose X over here, but when it is getting added successfully to the cart, but it shows you the value of Y. So that I would call as a bug, because it is not actually hampering the flow of the software, but what is happening is it's wrong. The input that should have been obtained, the output, sorry, which should have come is not coming. That would be a bug. An error I would classify as something like, if it was suppose a web application, suppose a shopping site, then we are not able to access it. We are getting 404 error or 502 error sometime when we are trying to visit the application. That I would call as an error.
Okay, so now when you talk about bugs and everything, so can you tell me about what is priority, what is severity, and how do you classify them?
Okay. Priority basically refers to how urgent it is to fix the software. The how urgent it is to fix the defect or the bug, the error that we have found in the software. And severity refers to how it is affecting the software, the way in which it is affecting. And yeah, we classify it as high, medium, and low, depending on the situations.
Okay. So can you tell me one example of, say, immediate priority and, say, medium severity?
Hmm. All right. Immediate priority would be something that, for suppose we have a shopping site where this link is only not working. It says site is unreachable. That would be something I would classify as immediate priority. And as for the medium severity, I would say, if we have like alternate sites. For example, if we have suppose Amazon, so we say amazon.in is not working, but amazon.com is working. So I would give it immediate priority, high, medium severity, because we have a workaround as for that.
Yeah, Shaili, I would like to ask one question. Do
Mhm.
you know white box testing?
Yes, in white box testing, we are aware of what is present in the code. The internal functionalities of the software is known to us. That is called as white box testing. We know what about the code that the developers have written, how the software should function, how what is happening. The exact code is known to us. We know how it's functioning.
And what are the different types of white box testing?
Testing. I'm sorry, I don't recall that.
Okay, no worries. And if I say if there is one website and I say please verify this website and list all the scenarios using white box testing. So how you will verify that?
So, do you mind repeating your question again, please?
Yeah, I want to verify one website from your side, and
Mhm.
one miss you have to verify that site with respect of white box testing. So you have to list all those points which will come under white box testing.
I'm not sure.
Okay, no worries. Going, you can continue.
Okay, sure. So what are the methodologies or the strategies that you will use? Say you have a field called as email. You have to write. You have to verify an email field. So there can be n number of inputs that can be used. Okay. So how do you look into it, like to minimizing the inputs, or what kind of methodology you use to reduce the checkpoints or something?
Hmm. Well, email field is supposed to have this. Yeah, we can check an email field for, like, example, it should not have you know uh, a dot, more than 2 dots in the email field. We can check if the requirements are it's not using @ character again. So this is how we can go about checking the email field. Okay. Also, we can check if all characters the user is entering is not really small. There has to be a minimum and maximum length for the email field which we are going to use.
Tell me about the software testing lifecycle.
Software testing lifecycle. Okay. In software testing lifecycle, we have the following phases. First is the requirement analysis phase, in which we try to gather the requirements from the our business analyst basically, and all the requirements are written down in the document. That is where we refer to it. It's done in this meeting, and we all sit together to make sure we are on the same page, and that is the requirement analysis phase. Then we come to the phase where we actually design the software test. Yeah, we are designing the software test cases there. Next we come to executing the cycle, where we are actually executing the test cases and finding out the bugs and errors. If we are finding the bugs and errors, it again goes back for to the development team so that they can fix it, and the software again is tested to just make sure that the bugs aren't there anymore. And once the test cases have passed, then it comes to the closure, where we provide it. We say that it has been closed. The test was successful.
Okay. So tell me about integration testing in depth. What is integration testing? What are the types and everything?
Okay. The integration testing basically comes into picture when we have been working on this modular approach, where we have small modules and when we have to integrate them as a part of a big project. So there are two types, basically three types of integration testing. First is the top-up approach, then is the top-down approach, then bottom-up approach, and there is the sandwich or mixed integration testing approach. I'll start with top-up. In top-up, what happens is the flow is from top. In top-down, the flow is from top to down, where we first test the high-level modules and then we come to the low-level modules. Okay, first we test the high-level modules with the help of stubs and drivers, and once they are responding well, we go and actually do the testing of the lower level modules. When we come to bottom up approach, the flow is just a reverse. It goes from, what happens is we here the low level modules are tested first, and when they are passed, then we go to the high level modules. Here the upper level module is known as the main module, whereas the lower level ones are known as sub levels. Next, we have the mixed or the sandwich. Here, what happens, we can proceed in either the top direction or the bottom direction. It's not mandatory we have to proceed in a particular flow. We can proceed as we like or as per our requirements. So we can start from anywhere in the project. We can start from the middle, where we check some middle modules, and with the help of stubs and drivers, we can go up and down as per our requirement. That was about integration testing.
Okay. Okay. Tell me, suppose if you have given a site for testing purpose, what would be your 5 topmost test cases or scenarios that you will use for testing purpose?
Govind, please repeat the question again.
Yeah, sure. So I said if the site, any of the site has been given to you, say it is fully developed, and there are,
Okay.
you have to write 5 scenarios you have to test. So what would be your 5 topmost test scenarios?
What do we have to basically test in the site? It's the smoke testing which we are doing, or we are just checking a particular page on the site, or do we have to go do a full walkthrough?
So it's a full developed software. Now it's up to you that what kind of testing you're doing. So I just wanted to know the top 5 test cases that you will be using to test the software. According to you, what would be those?
Okay. I would very quickly proceed with the smoke test here. We will just check the basic functionalities if the software is stable enough to be tested. Okay, like checking if the login functionality works. Let's, for example, say that's a shopping site, since you did not mention which category. So I'll just assume it's a shopping site. So first we will, check if the site is able to run correctly. We are not getting any error visiting the web page. It is the build is, I mean, the web browser, we'll check. We'll first ensure that the prerequisites are in place and then quickly go for the smoke testing here. If we are able to log in, we are able to sign up, simply choosing and navigating through the options available, and how we can go about using different methods, payment methods, to complete the payment and check out. This is what I would check at first.
Yeah, Shaili, I would like to ask one question. Tell me what is difference between verification and validation?
In verification, we are not actually running the code. It's just done before the product has been developed. We are trying to see how the software will work. We are for example, if we are suppose working on a mobile phone application. So in verification here, we only try to check like what are the features in terms of hardware, like what is the color, what kind of material has been used, what is the length, what is the width. So these are all factors come under verification, just the basic outlook, what it looks like. In validation, actually, we will be trying to use the application after it has been developed. So let's say, for example, the mobile phone example I took, we will actually be testing the phone. What are the how is the phone working, if it's turning on correctly, it's not turning on correctly, what's the camera specification, what hardware specification and software specifications are there, if the touch panel and everything is working fine. So that would be something in which we are actually executing the code. That would we would call as validation.
Okay, great. Uh, so tell me what is latent defect?
Latent defect.
Yeah.
Latent defect would be something that has been hidden in the software and it's not very easily found. Um, for example, if there is a parameter, say suppose the bug was coming for only that particular parameter. Say suppose we have a test case in which we used in which we could have entered numbers 1 to 10, but since we wanted to optimize and we used only the numbers 1 and 10, uh, 1 and 10 as for optimization, since the range that was provided to us was 1 and 10, but we forgot that but the bug only came up when number 5 was entered. So I would call that a latent defect. So that would be caught at runtime.
Okay. Is it like a hidden one or the defect which will not affect system? What do you think? Miss, you said like it is a hidden one, right?
Mhm.
So is that like it will affect the system or not affect system?
It will affect the system.
Actually, it is not.
Okay.
Okay. Govind, you can continue with your question.
Yeah. So going ahead, as Amol asked you about verification and validation. So in verification, there are like, what is walkthrough and reviews? Why they are been important to be taken care of?
Hmm. Walkthrough will basically be when we are going through the document and I'm actually a bit rusty on this, Govind. I don't, I know these terms, but I'm not able to recall them very well right now.
Okay, not an issue. So tell me about a bug lifecycle and the different types of bugs you have encountered till now.
Bug life. Yeah. What happens is when we have found a bug and it is first reported, then we are sending it back. Then we are first of all trying to categorize it, what kind of bug it is. Then we try to allot um, the severity and priority to the bug. What is the severity and priority? A ticket is created. For example, a bug is logged in our tool, and then we send it to the development tool again to fix it. When it has been fixed by the team, they again send it back to us, and then we perform retests either using new test cases or the existing test cases, and we again try to check if it was passed or not. If there's a bug, we again obviously send it back. If it passed, then we are closing that. We say the bug is fixed.
Okay. So with respect to bug question that Govind had asked, I would like to know that what are the different categories of debugging?
Not sure about that.
Okay, no problem. So I guess that when you were testing few cases, you were able to eliminate product risk in your project.
Yes, I was.
So how can you eliminate the product risk in your project? Okay, no problem. So what is the common risk that basically leads to a project failure?
Yes. Sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. No problem at all. So suppose you are working in a team, okay,
Mhm.
and it is asked to you by your project manager that you will have to allocate a task to your team members. So how you
Mhm.
are going to do that?
Hmm. Well, first of all, we have to determine the strength of the team. We need to know the velocity. We also need to see how if people have planned leaves in that particular sprint in the team. So we first need to determine all these factors and then divide the work accordingly, because we have to know the availability of our resources before dividing our work. So that is one major factor before dividing the work. This is how I would go about allocating work in our team. And also the skills of the teammates come into picture. For if a team consists of developers, testers, and with people from different, I mean, people have various skills. So I would, if somebody has skills in suppose Java, if somebody has skills in Python, so we are going to distribute it accordingly. That's how I would go and do about it.
I would like to ask one question on the question which asked by Deep. In this case, Shaili, do you check priority of the task first of all while assigning to the team member? Because we have some freshers, some like the employee which having more experience people are there. So
Yes.
do you
If
check
it's a
that?
high priority task, I would assign it to maybe the senior engineer there who has a lot of experience and can, because he will be able to work quickly and fix it quickly. As for a junior engineer who is, or maybe a fresher who is already learning, he will take some time. He will take more time to fix it. He'll have to consult people. He will have to either research on it. So yes, if it's a high priority task, it goes to the senior team members.
Okay.
Okay. So last question from my side, Shani. In your project, if you have worked. So what kind of bugs or the severity you have found, and did you face any of the issues while reporting it, or your bugs being accepted or not? So just wanted to know about it.
Yeah. So, Govind, basically, I was working on this payroll application in my company when we were testing it, and it was for a group of clients for which some errors were coming up and the payroll was not pulling up. So, whereas the same thing was working for everyone, but only for a handful of people, it was not working. So I found it. Although it was not a very, I would say it did not affect the application completely, but yet since it's a payroll application, so even if a few people are affected, it would be a bad reputation on the software not working. So I reported it. And I reported it to the senior engineer, and also he was okay with it. We logged the case. This was put on high priority, and then we solved it.
Okay. And did you face any of these circumstances anytime while coordinating with your team members, or whenever you're logging the bugs, it has been accepted, it has not been accepted, or there were anything did you faced?
Not as of now. Our communication with my team has been very good. I don't find issues in communicating with people. It's and also if we are having disagreements on something, I try to look to their point of view. They try to look into mine, and we come to a common conclusion. So that has not been an issue.
Great.
Coordinating with the team is good.
Okay, great. I'm done from my side. Amol and Shubhdev, you can just take over it.
Sure. So, yes, Shali. So the final question that I would like to ask to you is that, uh, for example, if you are not selected today in today's interview, okay,
Mhm.
so what will be your approach towards your life, or towards what will be your next approach?
Uh, if I'm not selected in today's interview, then I will try to work on the loopholes. I will try to work on knowledge, because as you see, I did say that I did not recall of certain things that you asked. So first, I would like to work on them and keep giving it a try till I'm perfect. There's always room for improvement, and I think there's a lot in it for me now, since I have 1 year of experience only in the testing field. So there's a lot to learn, and this process is not going to end. I'll keep working hard.
That's great. So, do you have any questions for any of us?
Hmm. As of now, no.
Okay. So, thank you, Shali, for joining once again in today's interview session. It was really a pleasure to meet you and to know you more. And stay safe, and we'll definitely get in touch with you with all the feedbacks and everything. And we will discuss more about this interview. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Deep.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
nice day.
Thank you, Amol sir, and thank you, Govind.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you,
You all
everyone.
as well.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Bye.